The serenity of the Himalayas was shattered on April 22, 2025. Baisaran, a meadow of breathtaking beauty in Pahalgam, Kashmir, became the stage for a horrific act of violence. Terrorists struck, leaving behind a trail of death and despair. 26 lives were lost, including Indian Navy Lieutenant Vinay Narwal and 2 foreign tourists. The idyllic landscape, a haven for nature lovers, was stained with the blood of innocents. The attack, claimed by the Kashmir Resistance Group, sent shockwaves across India and Pakistan. It served as a stark reminder of the fragile peace in the region. The group, believed to be a faction of the band Lashkar-e-Taiba, cited the changing demographics of Kashmir as their motive. They aimed to resist the settlement of outsiders in the valley, further inflaming tensions. The Pahalgam attack marked a turning point in India-Pakistan relations. It reignited old wounds and threatened to unravel years of tentative peace-building. The world watched with bated breath as the 2 nuclear-armed neighbors teetered on the brink. The specter of conflict loomed large, casting a long shadow over the future of South Asia. The roots of the India-Pakistan conflict run deep, entangled in the tumultuous events of 1947. The partition of British India into 2 independent nations, India and Pakistan, was a bloody and chaotic affair. Millions were displaced as communal violence engulfed the subcontinent. The wounds of partition continue to fester, shaping the political landscape even today. At the heart of the conflict lies the disputed territory of Kashmir. Both India and Pakistan claim the region in its entirety, leading to 3 major wars and countless skirmishes. The 1972 Simla Agreement, signed after the Bangladesh Liberation War, established the line of control. It was meant to be a step towards a peaceful resolution, but tensions persisted. The decades following the Simla Agreement witnessed periods of relative calm interspersed with spikes in violence. Accusations of cross-border terrorism, infiltration, and human rights violations have been a constant feature of the relationship. Distrust and suspicion run deep, making any meaningful dialogue a formidable challenge. The Pahalgam attack was not an isolated incident. It occurred against a backdrop of heightened tensions following India's revocation of Article 370 in 2019. The move, which revoked the special status of Jammu and Kashmir, was met with anger and resentment in Pakistan. It also fueled separatist sentiments within Kashmir, creating a fertile ground for militant groups to operate. The attack in Pahalgam, the first major civilian terror incident since 2019, pushed both countries closer to the brink. India blamed Pakistan for harboring and supporting terrorist groups operating from its soil. Pakistan vehemently denied any involvement, calling for a neutral international investigation. The war of words escalated rapidly, poisoning the already fragile relationship. The attack also had a profound impact on the people of Kashmir. The sense of fear and insecurity, a constant companion for decades, intensified. The fragile peace that had been painstakingly built over the years lay shattered. The attack served as a grim reminder of the human cost of the enduring conflict. Section 4. Diplomatic Fallout, Walls of Silence. The diplomatic fallout from the Pahalgam attack was swift and severe. India recalled its High Commissioner from Pakistan and expelled the Pakistani envoy from New Delhi. Trade relations were suspended and cultural exchanges cancelled. The Attari Wagah border crossing, a symbol of hope and reconciliation, was closed indefinitely. Pakistan responded in kind, expelling the Indian High Commissioner and recalling its own diplomat. Airspace was closed to Indian Airlines, further isolating the 2 nations. The diplomatic channels, already strained, were effectively shut down. The walls of silence grew higher, making any prospect of meaningful dialogue seem like a distant dream. The diplomatic freeze had far-reaching consequences. It hampered people-to-people contact, trade, and cultural exchange. It also made it more difficult to address critical issues such as water sharing and terrorism. The breakdown in communication further deepened the mistrust and suspicion between the 2 nations. Section 5. Brinkmanship, the low sea on edge. The Pahalgam attack also led to a dangerous escalation along the line of control, or LOC. Both India and Pakistan rushed troops to the border, and the exchange of artillery fire became a daily occurrence. The fragile ceasefire that had held for years was in tatters. The risk of a full-blown conflict loomed large. The volatile situation on the LOC posed a grave threat to regional peace and stability. The presence of 2 nuclear-armed neighbors locked in a tense standoff was a cause for global concern. The international community watched with trepidation, fearing a miscalculation or accident that could spiral out of control. The escalation on the LOC also had a devastating impact on the lives of civilians living along the border. They were caught in the crossfire, their homes and livelihoods destroyed. Schools and hospitals were forced to shut down and essential supplies were disrupted. The human cost of the conflict continued to mount. Section 6. The world reacts. Calls for calm and restraint. The international community reacted to the Pahalgam attack with a mixture of condemnation and concern. The United Nations Security Council called for restraint and urged both India and Pakistan to engage in dialogue. The United States, a close ally of India, expressed its condolences and urged de-escalation. Regional powers like Iran and Russia also offered to mediate between the two warring neighbors. However, both India and Pakistan remained reluctant to engage in third-party negotiations. They viewed the Kashmir issue as a bilateral matter that should be resolved through direct talks. The international community's efforts to mediate a solution were hampered by the deep mistrust and historical baggage that plagued the India-Pakistan relationship. The lack of a neutral arbiter acceptable to both sides further complicated the situation. The international community's role, while crucial, remained limited. Section 7. Charting the future between hope and despair. The Pahalgam attack cast a long shadow over the future of India-Pakistan relations. It underscored the fragility of peace in the region and the ever-present risk of conflict. The path ahead is fraught with challenges, but amidst the despair, glimmers of hope remain. Dialogue, however difficult, remains the only viable solution. Both India and Pakistan must recognize that the costs of continued conflict are unsustainable. They must find a way to bridge their differences and address the underlying issues that fuel the animosity. The international community can play a constructive role by facilitating dialogue and building confidence. The people of India and Pakistan, especially the youth, yearn for a future free from the shackles of the past. They understand that peace is not merely the absence of war but the presence of justice, equality, and opportunity. It is towards this vision of a shared future that both nations must strive. The road ahead may be long and arduous, but the pursuit of peace must never cease.